Your first stretch is for the hamstring. Your foot's going to be up on a chair, a stair, or on the ground. Your knee is going to be slightly bent. You're going to be pivoting forward from your hips. You're not going to be bending your back when you do this. You're going to keep your back fairly straight. Your upper body is going to be fairly symmetrical left and right. Your toes are pointed towards the ceiling, not out in front of you. You're going to feel this in the back of your leg between your butt and your knee. Get to a comfortable position so that you can hold it there for about 30 to 45 seconds. To start with, your foot's going to be pointed up towards the ceiling. For a more intense stretch, you can point your toes towards your head. You can also decide if the inside or your outside of your hamstrings are tight. By doing this, you're going to point your foot to the outside and stretch it. Point your foot to the inside and stretch it. If either one of those are tight, throw that stretch in there as well. Otherwise, just point it towards the ceiling and stretch forward. But you're always pivoting from your hips, not your back. Your next hamstring stretch is kind of the same thing, but you're going to be pointed directly to the side, and you're going to be tipping over sideways like a teapot. You're going to feel this on the far inside of your hamstrings. Once again, you're pivoting around the hips. You're not turning, or you're not bending your whole spine to do this. Your next stretch is for the quads. You're going to hold on for balance. You're going to just pull your ankle up back behind you. Your knees are going to be fairly close together. Once again, your upper body is pretty symmetrical from left to right. You're going to feel this up in front of your thigh. You might also feel it up into your hip. A nice gentle stretch. Don't pull it too hard that it hurts. This is from the back. Notice the symmetry between the left and the right of the upper body. Your knees are fairly close together as if you were standing. You're not pulling your knee out to the side or leaning forward to pull back further. The next stretch is for the hip flexor. During this one, you're going to be in a kneeling position. You are going to imagine someone was pulling your hips forward as if there were ropes tied on to your pelvis. So your pelvis is going to be pulled forward and pointed a little bit up. You can Kegel while you're doing this. Get those abs tight. Your chest is going to be facing kind of upward. You're not going to be leaning forward when you do this. When you lean forward, you take that hip flexor out of the stretch. You stretch the front leg. You're going to feel the stretch all up in front of your hip flexor, up in front of your hip, and possibly in your quad as well. If you stretch forward, you'll be stretching the back of your forward leg, not your hip flexor. For a more intense stretch and to get your quad stretched as well, you can put your back foot up onto your toes. You can also put your back leg up onto a couch to stretch your quad as well. But once again, you're fairly symmetric from left side, right side of the body. The next stretch is for the glutes and your adductors, the sides of your hip. You're going to put your foot kind of as if you were going to sit Indian style. You can do this on a couch, you can do it on a chair, you can do it off the end of bed. But you're going to cross that front leg. Your back leg is going to be pointed straight behind you, bent knee. And once again, you're pivoting at the hip. You're not flexing your back to get down towards your knee. You're going to feel this in your butt and on the outside of your hips. So your foot is in that Indian style position. Back knee is straight behind you. And you are leaning directly forward, not tipping left or right. You're going to feel this in the outside of your hips. If it's too uncomfortable to do this up on something, the next one I'm going to show you is on the ground to stretch the same muscle. So this is a little bit easier. It'll help keep your back straight and you more symmetrical. You're going to cross a leg, your ankle across your knee. You're going to lift up and hold the knee pointed straight forward. Feeling this on the outside of the hips into your butt. And for the other leg, same thing. Ankle across the knee, lift up and hold. For a more intense stretch in your hip, you can push your crossed knee down away from your chest. It'll get more of a stretch into your hip.